All right, Roto Grinders, here we are. It's Saturday, and we have a very, very special edition of the Weekend Warrior Grinders Live coming at you. We have 17 games today. Very, very rare. I don't know what the all-time record for MLB games are in a day. I suspect back when they used to play more doubleheaders frequently, Saturdays and Sundays probably reached those lofty heights. Of course, there were a lot less teams then, and everybody traveled by trains. Today we got private jets, and those of us that don't have private jets, well, we drive in cars. So that's where we're at. But this morning, I am joined by one Louiescards. Andrew, show yourself, announce your presence, and be recognized.
Hey, everybody, as I would say. No. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. 17 games, a lot of pitching options out there today, a lot of hitting options, specifically in first base and outfield. Should be fun. We got a lot to talk about, so you want to get right into it?
Yeah, we better. I can hear my dog's barking downstairs. She likes
First of all,
go ahead.
Did you win the Tournament of Shame last night? I saw you win before I went to bed. So
yeah, I absolutely crushed it.
Yep.
I owned it. It was awesome. I only had that lineup. The only other GPP was the Moonshot, and I got 12th out of like 5,000 people. So
yeah,
not too bad.
Didn't have it in the perfect game. That's a shame.
Yeah, but I did win a perfect game ticket, so I have one today. I don't know if I'll use it. I don't know if lightning will strike twice, but we have huge game slates. We've got early, we've got late, we've got all day. FanDuel in particular, they have all day. They have early. They have 4 o'clocks, they have 7 o'clocks, and they have very late. It's awesome. There's lots of baseball today, so let's embrace it. Let's go with it. There's a lot of pitching today. Unfortunately, they all happen at 4 o'clock or sooner for the really good ones, but let's start off with that. And as the guest, Andrew, take it away.
Yeah, so today I like a lot of pitchers. You have Darvish, who's out there. He'd be my number one overall if we weren't talking about price. Now, some places he's priced up pretty high, so you're going to hurt yourself trying to get some of these big bats and putting him in. Outside of just below Darvish, I actually have Gio Gonzalez, which is kind of weird because you have Chris Sale, Scherzer, Sonny Gray, guys like that also pitching today in the early. But the matchup with the Cubs really looks good to me when I look at the splits. He's in a good spot here, and I think he's going to be my number 2 guy. So behind Gonzalez, I'd probably go Scherzer, then Sale, or any of those three are pretty close in my book when I break it down. Scherzer, Sale, and Gray. I couldn't fault you for going to either one or any of the three. Gray's going to be the cheapest, so he probably is going to fall with a heavier ownership, I would say, than the rest of the guys. So where are you at in the early pitching, and do you agree or disagree on any of those guys?
It's going to be weird. I'm actually disagreeing with Gio Gonzalez. Is he good? Yes. Is he a lefty? Yes. Do the Cubbies hit lefties? Not so much. Do the Cubbies hit anybody? Outside of Castro and Rizzo, not so much. I'm just a little nervous about Gio. I'm hoping if he gets another good start here, then I'll be back on the bandwagon. I have no problem with that. I think he's a fantastic pitcher. I want to see it some more. He scuffled, had tired arm, whatever issue he had before he went on the DL. He's come off the DL and he's given up. He's had 2 starts. He's got 11 Ks in 11 innings, which isn't bad, but he's labored in them and he's had to pitch out of jams. So if anybody's going to make you better with that, and it's not the San Diego Padres, it would be the Chicago Cubs. So I think he's in a good matchup. I wouldn't fault anyone for taking him on the early-only slates. I am just not going to today. That is because I'm putting everything I've got behind Darvish and Scherzer for me today. I've decided I'm on the early slate and the 4 p.m. slate. I'm going to pay up for them. I'm going to do what it takes to get them in. There's a couple sneaky pump plays out there for us, so we should be able to do that. You're going to have to go lighter on some of the bats, but definitely doable, and especially with the doubleheader today and the doubleheader. There's going to be some value here and there. because some of these teams are a little older. I'm looking at you, Philly. I'm looking at you, Washington. You're going to be sitting some people here and there. So I think that there's going to be opportunity. Hopefully, they do it correctly and they don't take Kirk Gibson advice and they actually look at, oh, this is the really good pitcher. Perhaps we will rest our guys against him, and then we'll try to win the other one. So who knows? We'll see. But those are the two guys I'm looking at. In particular, I agree. I think Darvish is my top guy. Shortly followed there by Scherzer. Scherzer bumped up a little bit more in my rankings this morning once the Dallas Keuchel announcement was made that he was sitting. I think this is for like I was IMing with the JMB Wingspan. The other guy does a lot of content for us on the weekends, and he said he thought this was the third time on a weekend day where they've actually pushed back Dallas by a day. But with Oberholzer, they kind of do have 6 starters. They brought him back up from the minors, so it's not a big deal. It's just going on Draft Street to switch all of their heavy platoon split pricing. So that's the main reason I wanted to call that out. They go from facing the lefty to a righty, so you should be able to find some mispriced, not in a huge discount way, but you should find a little bit of a discount over there on Draft Street. But those are the guys I'm looking at early. I'm not really on Chris Sale, which is interestingly enough. I mean, Bautista's out, Lowry's out. It's a weaker Blue Jay lineup, and I like Sale a lot, but not on him. I'm not really on Sonny Gray today. In the evening contests, let me see who I like there. In that one, I'm actually going to go against my Nats. I'm going to take Zamordia, and then I like Tanaka going against Boston. Now, Boston, are they not the defending world champions?
They also have a similar record to the Cubs, but yes, they are.
Okay, but it's, oh my God, it's Boston against New York. Oh, they're just going to score a ton of runs. Actually, on the road, they're 26th in runs scored per game at like 3.7. So do not be afraid of Boston. And yeah, Tanaka got a little roughed up in his last game. He gave up 3 runs. In his 15 starts, he hasn't given up more than 3 runs. He's done that 4 times. So if that's him getting roughed up, I'll pay up for it. I don't have a problem. I think a few people are going to be off him just because it's Boston and it's a name pitcher. How do you feel about some of those pricey guys I mentioned that you had not covered? And do you have pump plays? I've got a couple we'll throw out after we hear your analysis.
Yeah, so Draft Street, you have to play a couple of cheap guys if you want to do the 3 starting pitcher. So guys like Chen and even Tomlin, for me, are guys I'm looking at possibly playing with some of the better pitchers today. In the night games, I like Tanaka, as you did. Greinke, I think the Cardinals have struggled enough that he is an intriguing play for me. And then on the other side, Lynn with his new, I guess, where he's holding his hands, I guess he was tipping pitches is what they're saying here in St. Louis. He had a great start last time after they fixed it. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to give it a game or 2 before I really say, hey, that's what fixed it. He's a guy that's so mental to me anyway that I'm probably going to stay away from him this week. But if he shuts down the Dodgers again tonight, he's got the stuff. It's always been mental with Lynn. So I don't mind him. I'm not on him. I looked at Buehler for Chicago because I thought maybe he's a sneaky play, but he's actually got pretty good splits. He's really good splits against right-handers. Average against lefties, maybe slightly above average against lefties. But his real problem is he doesn't K a lot of guys. And in the big leagues, you have to be able to get out of the jams with some strikeouts. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. So he's off the board for me. And that's part of the reason I bumped Gio up because I think that the Nats are going to get to Buehler today. He's probably going to be put in some tough spots and not get out of them. I don't really like any of the pump plays at pitcher besides maybe Chen and Tomlin. And it's not that I actually like them, but on Draft Street, you're forced to play the guys, at the lower prices, and you look for the best matchup. And I think those 2 guys fit that mold for the Draft Street game.
Yep. Let's see here. Kind of cheapies. Oh, and chat. Yes, while I am not on Sale or Gray, they are decent options today. I'm just not on them. Sometimes we have to plant our flag. People get a little annoyed when we say, oh, we like everybody. So I'm not liking them today for my cash. As always, it's DFS. What do we vote with? Cash. We vote with our money. The best thing we can vote for or vote with. And I vote for more money for me. Stroman. I'm going on the other side. I'll take him as my cheapie. Treated me well when I had him against the Yankees in his last start. Very nice. He's had 6 Ks or more in 3 of his last 5. I don't mind him today. I'm not too intimidated by the Chicago White Sox batters. And then in the late slate, the 2 we're looking at, or the 2 you mentioned, kind of Greinke and Lynn going against each other. I don't mind that so much. They each have a little bit of a concern. As you mentioned, Lynn sometimes can get in his own head. Greinke's lost 3 of his last 4 starts. The Dodgers have lost 4 of his last 5. But 6.5 over-under in that game. So we don't have as many great pitchers there if you're playing evening only, so those guys definitely got to be in play. And then, wait for it, a fly ball pitcher, Josh Colemencher, going to Petco Park. And what do the Friars like to do? They like to grant wishes. They like to make everybody look like Cy Young. So he's in play. I haven't done too many evening lineups yet, so I don't know where I'm going to slot him in, but I do want to call that out. He's definitely a guy that will be helped out by Petco Park. Any other thoughts, or shall we dive on into catchers?
I actually have Colemencher, wrote it down here on my paper. Apparently I say yes so a lot. It's a drinking game. Somebody said they'd be shit-faced this early to take a drink every time I say start a sentence with yes so. Thanks for the criticism. I will try not to do that anymore.
Good luck with that. Yeah, so what are you going to say now?
You want to go to first base now?
First base? Catcher. I want to go to catcher. Come on. Catchers are important. They're involved in every single play of the game. We can't leave them out. Let's go with catcher.
I'm debating purposely starting with yes so now, or should I try to not say it? I'm going to try not to say it.
Well, as long as when we get to outfield, you say yeah, so Puig, we're good.
Okay, there you go. Catcher today. I like John Jaso. He should be back behind, or actually he should be in the lineup period. Sal Perez and Devin Mesoraco. Outside of those guys, I feel like there's not really anybody in a really good matchup. Even Mesoraco, he's not necessarily in a really good matchup. He's just been a really good hitter. I really don't like anybody at catcher today outside of those 3 guys. Or is there anybody that I missed that you like, or maybe some pump plays that we could throw out there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to call up the lineups. I was busy doing the last-minute write-ups and tweaking a few of the tools there, so I didn't see who's in there on the early ones. I'm hoping that that's going to be a late slate. So let me see here. Sal Perez, I think, is all right against Santiago. Santiago was, as we know, a substandard Marine, and while his death, though tragic, probably saved lives, according to Colonel Jessup. I had to make you laugh. We had to do a little movie reference there.
That's a Few Good Men reference.
A Few Good Men. So I don't really see anybody of the people that are announced that are jumping off the page at me in the early released lineups. In my write-ups, I said I would really like Alex Avila today. He's got a good lefty-righty matchup going against Brett Oberholzer. He's been very solid there. He gets walks. He gets on base. His batting average isn't great, but his OPS is just over 700, and you can usually find him near the minimum. John Jaso, if he's in, I'm really hoping Steven, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but we'll go with Vogue, whatevs. I got a whatevs in there. All right, that's a drink for the crowd. Every time I throw in some current lingo that I have no business saying, you guys got a drink. And Domit. I think we're going to see Domit in one or both of the games. Gaddis was hurt last night, so I don't know where he is going to end up. But this is kind of on the older players thing. Domit could end up at catcher, first, or outfield in real baseball, but he is slotted at center. He's a cheapie. I don't mind him. In the late games, I got nothing. I'm looking at Jan Gomes, Domit again maybe, and then I don't mind Pierzynski or McCann, even though they have tougher matchups. McCann in the lefty-lefty and Pierzynski going against Tanaka, but they're both relatively cheap, and I'm not overly scared with Lester. So that's kind of where I'm at there. I will be definitely looking at the Roto Grinders lineup page in the Bargain Bin Ballers so I can find some punt plays at catcher, because with the pitching, I think this is where we're going to need to save. And there wasn't just great matchups that were popping out there for us.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. One thing to note, Avila did get dinged up a little bit last night. He caught a foul tip pretty hard. I don't know if he's – I mean, he stayed in the game. It's just worth mentioning that he was down for a little bit there with that. So, I mean, it's Avila. If you're playing him anyway, you don't feel that great to begin with. So, just worth mentioning.
All righty then. Wait. Oh, is Oberholzer a lefty or righty? I think Chat's almost, he's a righty. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong. Andrew will look that up.
He is a lefty.
Oh! God! More sodas for EMac. Oops. All right. I'll take a shot. That'll be great. It's my anniversary today. I'll be taking a couple shots. It's awesome. Damn it. I still like Avila because he takes walks. If he's not in there, I'm going to go off script. I have no idea. Is Brian Holiday, is he a righty or is he a lefty also?
Who are you looking for?
Holiday, catcher for Detroit.
Oh, he's not on my radar. I don't even have him on my list.
I'm going with punt plays. Punt. There's key. Now, if Avila really did get hit last night with a foul tip, was it just the tip or was it more solid contact than that? That would.
Were they playing just the tip? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, something like that. It's Saturday. It's early. We're not sponsored. So we're going to have some fun.
What's up with that? I'm not CSU Ram with the, innuendo and all that stuff. I'm the Yasso guy. Play John Yasso today.
Yes. All right, let's get on to first base here. Let's get somewhere where we know what we're talking about. And I'm going to be talking about Freddie Freeman, both slates. The Philadelphia Phillies are putting out weak right-handed pitchers, and I know Freddie Freeman is a left-handed pitcher, unlike Brett Oberholzer, who is apparently ambidextrous. But I like Freeman both slates. He's going to be on most of my lineups. He was on a lot of my lineups last night. Very nice. Home run, couple RBIs, double. He's locked in. I like him both slates. He's probably my top play. Miggy, as always, you can put him in there. If it's a John Jaso day, it's a Brandon Moss day. We got to look at him. Jose Double Dong Abreu, always an option. Goldie going against a weak, god-awful lefty in Eric Stoltz. That's kind of where I'm at. It looks like I'm paying for first base today. I don't see any way around it. Maybe go with Logan Morrison on the cheap if he's in there for the Mariners, and on your site, he is first base eligible. I also don't mind Matt Adams, Anthony Rizzo today in their matchups.
All right, I think you named all of the first basemen today, so should we just move to second? No, I'm kidding. I'm with you. Freeman's my top guy. Freeman's my top guy. I actually wrote him up on the draft day EP yesterday, so if you follow that, hopefully you took that advice. Everybody was on Encarnacion. He ended up hitting a home run. Was looking even better before he did. I like Miggy. How can you not like Miggy? If you can afford Miggy, sure, why not? I think Freeman's probably the better play because he's cheaper and he has a better matchup. Like you said, Moss in play, Votto in play, Adams in play. Guy that has first base eligibility, been DHing a lot, CJ Cron. I like him.
Double dong last night for him.
Yeah, that does scare me. I don't like to chase home runs, but at the same time, he's been hitting really well even before last night. So, and then a guy like Steve Pearce who has first base in some spots. Not a bad. I think you need to pay up today if you're going to look down. Cron, Pearce, those guys, not bad.
Yeah, Pearce is actually pretty good. He seems to be batting second in the lineup a lot. All of a sudden, he's flashing some power. I was not expecting that. I get to tune into a few of the Baltimore and the Nats viewing area, so they show both games. So I kind of bounce back and forth when I'm not chasing games around on MLB.TV. So I like that. A cheap guy There actually was a Carlos Pena sighting last night. He is
Stop
there for
it. Stop it,
Texas.
people. Stop it. I
I,
can't. I don't know. I just don't see it. I heard a couple of guys saying that he was a good play yesterday. I just don't see it. I don't care if he's hitting third in the lineup. I don't care if he gets to hit 3 times in the lineup. No. What are we doing? Carlos Pena? All right. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
all right. Well, I was on the air last week for my first ever show with Dean, and before we got on air, we were talking about recent signings by the Marlins, and Brad Penny apparently was signed to a contract, and I had to ask, Brad Penny Jr. or the Brad Penny? There are a few retreads coming on up here and there as the injuries are starting to take their toll in different places. I just like throwing out Carlos Pena because, man, he's all or nothing and just a horrendous player. He's one of those two true outcomes: strikeout or home run. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, really, I guess he is a home run hitter. I'll give you that. So on DraftKings and sites like that, you're playing a GPP. You want a low-owned guy that's got the potential to hit a home run. Sure, why not? But everybody's on him right now for some reason, so his ownership is too high to begin with for the production you can expect from Pena. I just don't get it right now. Let that fade, and then maybe play him in GPPs. That's about it for me. I'm not playing him right now.
Yeah, I was just trying to find somebody that on the cheap there. Billy Butler's probably low in a lot of places. I think I like your mention of CJ Cron, and then I'm just scrolling down here through the FanDuel pricing, and that's why I saw Pena at 2,200. But yeah, really, I think you're paying up for pitcher. You're paying up for first base today. We're going to try to go cheap at catcher and shortstop when we get there. But in the meantime, we have the position that holds it all together. That is the keystone position. Outside of the amazing Robinson Cano, is there anybody else you want to play today?
Yeah, I actually have Scooter. I haven't seen the lineups. I'm trying to think of when their game is, actually. I like Scooter a lot today. And then I have a bunch of guys that are all kind of close in the way I weigh players. Utley, Gordon, Kinsler, and Murphy. They all sit right next to each other in my spreadsheet. So look for the best price. If you feel like one of those teams is going to do better than the rest, go for that guy. Second base, I really don't love today, so I'm going with Scooter in most spots and calling it a day.
He's not cheap on FanDuel. He's 4,100. That's pretty pricey.
Yeah, I guess he's cheap some places still, and some places he's not. Like draft day, he's underpriced every day. I think even draft street, I would consider him, average price for his production. I guess pick your spots with him, and then go with the other guys: Utley, Gordon, Kinsler, Murphy. Any of those guys I like today. I don't think second base is going to win you a tournament today. Let's put it that way.
All right. I'm just trying to look up one thing here. And why is it not there? I don't know. That's not good. So, the other second baseman I like, Brandon Phillips. Consistently ignored, consistently underowned, producing. I can't say consistently producing because he was not earlier this year, but he is now. And I liked Ian Kinsler when I thought Oberholzer was a righty, so I really like Ian Kinsler now that I know that Oberholzer is a lefty. So I got Kinsler. Aaron Hill in the later games, righty against terrible Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz is equal opportunity. He gives up 317 batting average against to both righties and lefties. He's just bad. Bad. And to righties, he gives bonus. Gives up a slugging of 525. That's a hard slugging number to get when you pitch in Petco Park. So I like him, and then Tommy La Stella, I suspect he'll probably be in both games. He's cheaper on some sites, so I like him. So I think there's a kind of a nice little range in there from Cano all the way down to La Stella, and then you've got Gannett, depending on site, Kinsler, Phillips, and Hill. I think you can kind of get whatever you need at second base today. from that standpoint. Anyone else we are missing?
I like the LaStella play. He's been pretty average by metrics. He's not below average. He's not above. But his pitching matchups are plus matchups today. So good. I like that you pointed him out. He's cheaper. Lets you pay down if you don't like second base, or you can't really pin one guy down that you like.
Yeah, I'm just seeing anybody threw out a couple others in chat there. Looks like we're talking some Josh Harrison, some Anthony Rendon. Yeah, I don't really mind either of those guys. They didn't really jump in my area, but price depending. Harrison I like. He seems to be in a lot of different spots, or playing in a lot of different positions, and with Starling Marte dealing with, well, he didn't have a concussion, but he did have a headache and ringing in his ears, but now his finger hurts. So he's out either way. He was out yesterday. I suspect he may be out again today. Just he seems a little dinged up and maybe need a little bit of extra rest. And with Josh, man, what do you got to do? You got to get that bat in the lineup while you got it working. So there are some guys there. Let's see. We're gonna have a little bit of time here. We're going quick, even though we have 17 games. There's a lot of outfielders, so I'm sure we'll slow down there.
Yeah, I actually had Harrison as an outfielder.
As an outfielder, yeah. And then we got shortstop and third base. Which would you prefer to go to, short or third?
Let's go to short.
Shortstop. We're gonna work our way around the diamonds. I'm not on Tulo today. That's it. I really don't. Oh, wait. I'm looking. What is that? Pittsburgh's facing a lefty. It's Jordy Mercer Day. All right.
Yes, it is.
My work here is done. Who do you like as shortstop?
Man, I knew this was going to happen. I wrote down like 3 guys. So you can always play your Tulo and your Hanley if you can afford them. If you feel like you need to pay up for shortstop, I don't think that's the right play today. Or it's not necessarily the wrong play. It's just not what you need to do. You don't have to do that today, I guess I should say. Mercer is the obvious play at shortstop. The only downside is he'll be heavily owned. Everybody knows by now that Jordy Mercer crushes lefties, and with that, everybody is going to play him. He's cheap everywhere. If you're not going to go with him, look at guys like Jed Lowry. He's normally pretty cheap across the board. He's not going to kill your team. He's not going to, give you 30 points or anything, but or some crazy number. But he's not going to throw out a negative very often either. And another guy that's kind of sneaky is coming back today. I believe Gibson said that Owens is coming back, so don't mind that play at all. He'll be cheap, facing the lefty, and Eric Stoltz that can struggle against right-handed bats. Owens has around 70 or so at-bats or plate appearances and a 362 WOBA versus left. So, hey, I mean, if you're going to fade the Mercer play, I kind of like Owens better than just about anybody. I don't hate Lowry. And like I said, Tulo and Hanley always in play for me, but I'm not playing them today.
All right. As we're talking, I'm going through and fixing my write-ups to adjust for the Ian Kinsler news here because I've already gotten some complaints in the complaint box. But shortstop, definitely Jordy Mercer, definitely Jed Lowry, definitely J.J. Hardy, definitely Brad Miller if he's in the lineup because we really, really, really want to pick on Josh Tomlin. Those guys are all cheap. I like Starlin Castro in the righty-righty matchup against Blake Trianon, who is the sacrificial lamb that my Washington Nationals will be running out there against the Chicago Cubs in the nightcap. So Castro, righty-righty, all 11 home runs. He's dialed in. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Because I'm going high on pitchers, I'm focusing on the cheap shortstops today, chat. So that's where I'm looking on those guys. The hot corner. What do we have out working it on the hot corner, strutting their stuff?
Yeah, we got guys like Beltre, Longo, and Prado, all facing pitchers with somewhat bad or pretty bad splits against their handedness. Outside of that, you got Danny Valencia, who kind of looks like a solid play to me for his price. He hasn't really shown this year what he's been able to do in the past versus lefties. But with that being said, I like historical stats, and the way I weigh things, he shows up a lot on my list whenever they face a lefty. Uh, and then you got a guy like Gillespie, who's hitting up in the order, and while he hasn't put home runs out, he has hit a lot of doubles. So that's kind of where I'm at on third base. I haven't really narrowed it down to one per se, but I think Longo's ownership has been lower than it ever has, and he's in a good spot today. So I'm kind of leaning towards Longo at this point, if I can fit him in.
Yes, he is one of my top guys this early slate. I'm just scrolling back to there. I wanted to get his stats out because Wei Yin Chen has given up all 12 of his home runs against righties this season. Longoria seems to be back. His price is ticking up on a few sites, but on some he's still suppressed a little bit with his terrible May, in which he only had 5 extra base hits in the entire month. But he is back in June. It is all good. Adrian Beltre going against Phil Hughes in his reverse splits. Gotta like that. And then I wanted to recommend Aramis Ramirez, just because we're renaming June Aramis month, because, I don't know, 14 extra base hits, 390 batting average. That's pretty solid. He's got his little matchup today, which I've seen, but I'm on the fence, so I'm really leaning more towards Longoria. I don't know why. That kind of clicked and changed here. Kyle Seager in the night games, another lefty to take advantage of Josh Tomlin with. And then Valbuena for the Cubbies. Should be in the lefty-righty matchup against Blake Trinan for the Nationals. So, I don't know. I've got a couple cheaper guys, but it looks like I'm paying for the hot corner today. We've got to find our chat some values here, Andrew. Let's
if you're looking for value, it's Valencia. I mean, outside of him,
oh yes,
I don't really know. Maybe the Detroit third baseman. I can't think of his name right now.
Castellanos.
Thank you. Yes, Nick. Yeah.
And I missed out on that.
He's cheap in a lot of spots. They're facing a lefty. I think you pay up. If not, Valencia, and then maybe Castellanos. I don't know. Third base looks like a position to pay today, and I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one thing I love about baseball is it changes around. I mean, tomorrow it may be just that third base is just awful. Today it's a premium position. That happened last week with the second base. One day everybody was, you wanted to pay up, and everybody had a good matchup in the premium end, and then today it's like, outside of Cano, I don't really want to pay for anyone. But that's the fun thing. Tomorrow is a new day. But we've got today, and today it is 12:05. We have an hour left until we have roster lock. Be very, very careful today, gamers, if you are playing the all-day slate, because there are 2 doubleheaders, and the sites have different rules. Now, I created a post that I have been dragging out every time we end up with some doubleheaders here. It is a sticky post on top of the RotoGrinders main page, and it will let you know the site's various rules, and I've also included a link to the rules on each of the sites so you can kind of figure out what's going on. In general, most sites will play the starting pitcher even if both the games are in the same slate. Not always, but usually. And they will only count the batters or the relief pitchers in the first game. If they don't play in the first game and they play in the second game, you're going to be out of luck. So I get a little nervous because I can never remember all the rules. Fortunately, today is Saturday. The games are nicely compartmentalized, so if you're playing early and you're playing late, you're not going to have an issue. You can pick whoever you want from the teams. But just word of caution, there's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Draft Street, you can play the pitchers from any of the doubleheaders. They're all-day slate. Just know that the early batters are what will count. So you got that. I do want to hit on one thing. You mentioned the Brewers and Ramirez. One thing to take into account is that they've been facing a lot of lefties recently. So their stats in June are a tad bit inflated if you're looking at month-to-month metrics. Brewers mash left-handed pitching, and they were in Colorado facing lefties. Now they're back at home facing Colorado, throwing out the same lefties. Those stats have jumped quite a bit over the last week or so. Ramirez is really hot. He's a good hitter. I just think that maybe his meter is a little bit higher than it should be. I don't hate that play. He's a guy that can put one out of the park against anyone. So I just want to throw it out there that Brewers have been hitting pretty good because they've been facing lefties. As a Cardinal fan, I hate to see this many lefties for them, but hopefully they cool off here with the right-handed pitching coming up.
All right, chat still letting me know that Oberholzer is lefty. I'm going to stand by the fact that he is ambidextrous. So yeah. I'm going to go down with that ship. It's not going to be pretty, Andrew, but I've never been accused of being handsome or pretty, so I'm in good spot there.
Yeah. Just wait until the night when he throws one pitch with his right hand, and then you can just rub it in their face. That's totally going to happen, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Funny side story since we have a brief moment. There was a pitcher, I don't want to say it was about a decade ago, back when I used to actually subscribe to Sports Illustrated because it was reasonably up-to-date news. That is no longer the case. All magazines are dead to me. But there was a pitcher that could actually throw it righty or lefty in college. I believe he was in Division III or Division II. He actually had a glove created with 6 finger slots, so he could turn it whichever way he wanted, and he would switch on the mound based on what he wanted to do. Very interesting. So
yeah, I think
I just throw that out there.
There's been a guy drafted recently that I think even in college threw with both hands. No, I think that when he was drafted, they basically told him, hey, you're going to be a lefty or righty, whichever was his dominant. But yeah, it happens every now and then. I just don't think Oberholzer is the guy.
Yeah. All right.
Trying to poke you too. You got the chat poking you now. I'm gonna try.
Oh, that's fair enough. Outfielders. Let's delve into the awesomeness that is the Baltimore Orioles. Did you know that Adam Jones and Nelson Cruz combined have a .520 WOBA this season with 30 extra base hits and 150 at-bats against lefties? Do you think Eric Bedard, who's coming back for revenge, he played for the Orioles, about 7 years ago, do you think he has any chance of not giving up, not 1, not 2, but he will give up 3 home runs today? Thoughts on that bold prediction?
I don't know. The chances are he's going to give up 1 home run. Like you said, the Orioles outfield has been crushing versus left. I have Cruz and Jones both down here on the list. Yeah, I'll go with He's gonna give up a couple home runs. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'll set the over under at 2.5, and I'm gonna take the over. If he's in there long enough, hey, maybe even J.J. Hardy will get a home run. Who knows? Now that the schneid has been broken. Now some sites have Pierce. I saw him listed as an outfielder, and I can't for the life of me remember which site that was on, but I thought he was first base, and I think earlier in the season at one point he was catcher on one of the sites, so I don't know what happened there. But you had mentioned him earlier with the first baseman. I do like Pierce out there. He's usually batting second against lefties. I'm very sad Jason Worth is not in the early lineup against the Cubbies today. I wanted to get him on a lot of teams. He is sneaky effective against right-handed pitching. And with Beeler going out there today with Dallas Beeler, I really wanted Jason Worth. So he'll probably, give me a pinch hit home run or something. That'll be fine. But I think we got to look to Denard Span and Worth's replacement, who's going to be cheap on quite a few sites, one Nate McLouth. McLouth is 2,600 on FanDuel, 29 on Draft Street, 5 on Draft Day, 2 on Star Street, 25 on Fantasy Feud, 2.8 on DraftKings, and 5 on Fan Throwdown. Do you know what we call that? Fantasy bargain time. There we go. Load them up.
I thought you were going to plug the RG incentive tool or whatever, bargain bin baller there.
Well, I was going to, but unfortunately, the little squirrels behind the scenes don't look like they've updated it for that game, so they're probably in mid-update.
Perfect.
But let me throw that in the chat just because it is a great tool. It's one of our incentive tools, and you can find all sorts of good stuff in there. So I'm going to put that in there, gamers. You take a peek at that. It's color coded, so green means good, red means they really are going to be a punt play. But a lot of times you can find somebody with a lot of green. Like today, one Diane Viciato going against Marcus Stroman. He's got a little tough average, but he's got good WOBA, and the pitcher's not that great against lefties. So he would pop out to me. Danny Valencia pops out, as you mentioned. So those are just some easy, quick ways to get a nice visual on what's going on. And it also tells you where people are batting in the batting order. So you get somebody like Junior Lake today. It is a righty-righty matchup, but he's batting leadoff. Not a bad way to go. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. It's actually righty-lefty, so I like him even better. With the doubleheaders, gamers, our tools kind of freak out. If any of you ever work with Excel, VLOOKUPs, they match to whatever they find first. When there's a doubleheader, it says team versus team, team versus team, so it always takes the first one. We default normally to the second game because that's typically the one that's going to be in the most contests because doubleheaders happen a lot during the weekday. It gets a little wacky on the weekends, so just know you may see a few strange things out there. It's just one of the things that Excel kind of limits us on when we work our magic. Behind the scenes, we're looking at some workarounds, but I've already gotten complaints about that this morning. That's okay. Not much we can do about that, so I wanted to throw that out there. But see, as you can notice, it tripped me up, and I even knew about the issue. So we try to be careful with that.
Good effort, but support is still going to have 80 emails with people cussing them out today. So good try, EMac.
That's okay. I just want to say it's Ethan's fault.
Yeah, he's not here.
Not here. You blame the guy who's not here. I just left my company last week. I'm sure I was the worst employee they've ever had, even though I was one of the best. So there you are. Just blame the person that's not there. Anyway.
Do we need to get back on track with outfield? I can give a couple plays if you want me to.
Why don't you give a couple plays? I'm gonna call up the Star Street Pick 5 and the Rapid Fire Max. We still have 16 minutes left, despite my best efforts to get us all over the place and waste some time. So I mentioned Baltimore. I mentioned I was very sad about Jason Worth. We got off the rails on the whole doubleheader thing. Let's bring it back with a doubleheader. And I just want to say Jason Hayward and Justin Upton, both games against Philly righties. Love them, love them, love them. Andrew, get us back on track. You be the professional this morning because clearly I am incapable of it.
That's what makes this fun. You got guys like Kutch and Trout are going to be your top options to go with the Jones and Cruz tandem. Then from there we have guys like Coco Crisp, Shin-Soo Choo, you mentioned Jason Hayward. They're all in good spots. And if you're going to pay down, you got Harrison. You mentioned Lake. Cody Ross is a guy that I like today. He should be playing. He should have been playing the last time they faced lefty, but that's whole nother thing. Then you got a guy that's kind of sneaky and under the radar for DFS and Desmond Jennings. So those are guys I like. If we want to go a little bit farther because we're trying to kill time, you got guys like Charlie Blackmon in a matchup with Garza. Not necessarily the best matchup, but he's a good hitter versus right. Carlos Gomez is always a good play. Outside of those guys, I mean, you really want to pay up for the big guys if you can. Go cheap at the other positions, and I think load up on first base and outfield today. Pitching, first base, and outfield, value everywhere else, and you're in a good spot.
Yes, I concur. I've got a few more plays, and then I've got these other things lined up here. So, McCutcheon, yes, absolutely. The Detroit righties, I love them in righty-righties. I love them in righty-lefty matchups. They have a lefty matchup today. Rajai Davis, Austin Jackson, make sure they're in the lineup. They've kind of been rotating people through over there with the emergence of J.D. Martinez. Let's see. We'll talk about the Redbirds. Holiday, Craig, and John Jay. Thoughts going against Grinke. Now, this is a late slate only play. The late slate gets a little thin here because there's actually solid pitching in the 7 o'clock and later games, which makes it more difficult to find obvious bads. But if you're not a huge believer in Greinke or you think he's slipping a little bit, he hasn't had his pinpoint control, I think Holiday, Craig, and John Jay in the lineup are good. I probably won't have more than one of those three on my lineups, but they will be sprinkled throughout my lineups. Then again, the Braves in the nightcap. And then the Mariners. Chavez, Michael Saunders, James Jones. I think any lefty is in play today against Josh Tomlin. So I could very well see my lineups consisting of a Mariner, a Cardinal, and a Brave for my outfield. Any thoughts to add to that, Andrew?
Yeah, the Cardinals are really struggling. I mean, you mentioned Jay, Holiday, and Craig. None of those guys really give me a whole lot of confidence. But between the three, I mean, the most consistent player has been John Jay, believe it or not. He's not going to give you the home runs like the other two can. As a big believer in historical stats, like I said, I think these guys are going to come around, but there just are no signs right now. And Greinke, the last two times I've watched him pitch, seemed to be getting squeezed a little bit by the ump. I don't know if it just happened to be two umps that tend to do that, or if there's something more to that. But I don't necessarily believe that the fact that he is losing his control. I think he's been right around the plate, and normally calls he gets, he hasn't got. If he gets them tonight against St. Louis, watch out, because the Cardinals are not hitting very well. So he's definitely on my radar, and a lot of the Cardinals aren't, to be fair. Craig has looked like crap. He really needs to come around. He's him, Carpenter, those two guys really need to be a lot more consistent at the plate, and they're just not right now. I'd actually target the Cardinals with my pitchers.
Wow, that is one despondent Cardinals fan. I hope you have some fun planned this weekend, Andrew, because you're getting me a little depressed now. Jeez.
Well, I am going out of town. I'm heading up to KC here as soon as the show is over. Have some fun up there, taking the kids to Legoland. No, I don't mean to be doom and gloom. The Cardinals' pitching is always going to keep them in the game, so we've always got a good shot to win games. I just really expected more out of this. The World Cup, I guess somebody scored, but I really expected more out of this Cardinals offense. I think a lot of people did. The stats are there, or the numbers are there to prove that they should be hitting better than they are. They just aren't. So I don't mean to be all depressed about it, but and especially with the Cardinals sitting where they're at, they're not in a bad spot. The Brewers are notorious for collapsing, so hey, we got them right where we want them. I just wish they'd start hitting the damn ball.
All right. Are you ready for a little pick five?
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Chat, fire up some questions, because it's your old buddy EMac. I don't remember what our Twitter handle is. We're having you ask questions now, so go ahead and put those in chat. Shh. We won't tell Dan that I'm breaking the rules on that one, but I got a lot of moving parts here behind the scenes, so we're going that route, the special EMac edition. And we are going to start off with the Star Street Pick 5. This is us against them. Well, actually, it's us against Oranges. But let's see how we do. Let's see how he did. We have Yu Darvish versus Masahiro Tanaka.
Darvish.
I concur. Oh, I should say hi. Miggy Cabrera, Jose Abreu. Two big boppers, double dong potential. I got to go with Cabrera today. Abreu, do you think he can get back-to-back nights of double dongs? Yes, he can, but I'm going to go with Miggy.
Yeah, so I'm with Miggy too. Abreu definitely, he can hit a home run against anybody at any time. Miggy has kind of struggled the past couple of games, and I always like him whenever he hasn't had a multiple hit game or a couple hits, or if he's won a couple games without a hit. He seems to be one of those guys that doesn't go into a week-long slump. He'll have a couple games, and then he's right back. So I like Miggy in that spot.
All right. Andrew McCutcheon, Nelson Cruz. We got to go McCutch, don't we? Lefty matchup finally.
Yes.
All right. Freddie Freeman, Adrian Beltre. Color me intrigued. I am leaning towards Freeman, but he is anchoring darn near every one of my cash game lineups this morning. Chat was asking for a must-play position player. I would say it's Freddie Freeman. Beltre, very good in righty-righty matchups. I'm leaning Beltre. Am I being silly?
You're leaning Beltre. Yes, you're being silly. Freddie Freeman.
Sorry, I meant Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
We're going down
Freeman.
the left side. I'm sorry. We're still on the left side. Freeman.
Freeman is
yes.
the play there. Yeah. Beltre's not in a bad spot, but Freeman is in a plus spot.
I concur. And even though this price doesn't matter here, FanDuel 3,600. Get them in your lineups. Shin-Soo Choo, Robinson Cano round us out. Being a Mariners fan, I'm going to go with Cano. So I may need some levity in this situation.
This is where we're going to split. I like Shin-Soo Choo today over Cano.
All right, so we match up on the first four. We're going down the left side, and then we split on Shin-Soo Choo and Cano. If you are playing pick 5 to win 5, definitely take Cano. Follow me. If you're just playing the pick 3 to get 3, go ahead and take Shin-Soo Choo out there. Former Mariner, though. Oh, I got to rethink this. Mariners traded him away and somebody else to Cleveland for a sucky player, and yeah. All right, I hate the Mariners. I'm still taking Cano. There we go. Let's do 15 to win 300. That's a new one. We like that. Got to replenish the roll here. Got to get the roll swole. All right. That's a drink because I shouldn't be saying stuff like that because I don't know. I just shouldn't. The word I hate the most, anywhere if you want to piss me off, chat, go ahead and type it out. Prawley. What the hell is that? Puerto Rican trolley? I don't know. P-R-O-L-L-Y. Get that? No. And saying anyways instead of anyway.
Anyways, Chad is probably going to pull up here.
My mom was an English teacher, just so you know. Some people got in trouble for not cleaning the room. I got in trouble for improper grammar. There we are. She couldn't do much with it.
You probably shouldn't have told everybody that you don't like this.
Well, it's going to be fun. We'll give it about 20 seconds till I start seeing that all over there. But see, I'm good with grammar. I'm terrible with pronunciation. Sometimes we just have to lash out in different ways. Here we go. Rapid fire max. Darvish or Scherzer? So we went Darvish last time. I think we got to go Darvish this time.
Yes.
Ooh, Garrett Cole. Is he off the DL? How did I miss that? Garrett Cole versus Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray had his start push back the other day, but he gets Miami. Miami's not that great without Yelich. I'm going to go with Sonny Gray.
I think Gray, this one's pretty easy. Cole's probably going to be limited. Oh, man, I missed. Probably going to be limited. And Gray, I think, is one of the top options today. I know everybody's kind of off him, but I really think he's in a good spot, as Josh K would say.
Oh, yes, in a good spot. You know who's also... Oh, here we go. Lock it in now. Pujols versus Butler. I'm taking Pujols. We better step it up here before this one disappears.
Yeah, I'd go Pujols too.
All right. Alex Gordon versus Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard, lefty. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's not playing Gio Gonzalez. He's playing a... I'm still going... I'm going Ryan Howard. Alex Gordon against Santiago, our substandard pitcher.
Yeah, Gordon has really good lefty-lefty splits. That's actually a lot closer than I think most people would think it is. I'm still going to go with Howard.
All right. And then lastly, Ben Zobrist, Danny Valencia. I
feel like they're trolling me here.
Valencia. I'm going to go Valencia.
I feel like it's a trap, but I am too.
All right, so we're not quite as confident on this one, but we're going Darvish, Gray, Pujols, Howard, and Valencia. I'm just going to play 11 to win 20, just because I don't feel as confident about that one. But I know I'm going to win big on the other one, so maybe I should double down. Isn't that the way we do it? Let's see. How much alcohol will you consume today? I don't think that question is for me.
For me? I'll be driving, so I probably won't consume any until I get there.
All right, we're cruising through here. Home run patterns. The big fat cat, big stacks. Freeman is his dong of the day. I agree. Big B. EMac, is Texas Stadium the one when the wind blows in, it creates a jet stream out? The answer to that is actually yes. Now, I have heard that, I've read this, and I want to say it was on like one of Buster Olney's, you know how he links to all sorts of different articles every day on ESPN Insider. I read this a couple years ago. I've tried to Google it periodically to find a more definitive answer, and I can't, but I'm almost positive that it is in Texas when the wind blows in, it swirls and then blows out. It's not like Wrigley Field blowing out, but it's more of a, when it's blowing in, it actually has more effect than when it's blowing the other direction. It's something to do with the stadium construction.
Right, and I think it's more specifically, for some reason, it's when it blows in from right, the ball travels out better.
Yeah, it's like some weird horseshoe thing. It ricochets back out.
The announcers, if you watch games where the wind's blowing in, they'll mention it almost every game that it is. So I don't think I've ever seen an article. I've just gone off what the announcers say. So I mean, you got to take that with a grain of salt. I think it's absolutely true. You'll see a couple home runs and the announcers jump on board right away and say, well, the wind's blowing in pretty heavy from right today. They call it a jet stream is what they call it, the Texas announcers. So.
All right, good to know. Good to know. File that one away. How many drinks could you have? Because you have 18 Coors Lights in a day. Oh,
I would not have any Coors Lights in a day.
I probably could because it tastes like pee.
Shit, did I say yes or no? Somebody, oh man. Oh, or is he just drinking for me because I'm not able to drink right now?
There we go. Oh, and look, they say Coors Light is pissed. Yeah, it kind of tastes like pee. I'm not a big fan of Coors Light. I like, what's that other kind that they have? Blue Moon. That's a Coors product. I like that one. But
Blue Moon is a good product, yeah.
Yes. EMac, is Casey going to go? I don't know. Where is Casey going to go? Do we have some weather? Let's look at some weather. We don't have many questions. We must have done a really good job. We're talking more about beer and Yassos than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious we're great. So, yeah, so I mean, we're probably the best tandem we have on GrindersLive, I think.
I would probably agree with that.
Anyways.
All right, we have 90 seconds left, Andrew. Let's be professional briefly.
Okay. Yeah.
I am looking at the weather. You talk about anything your little heart desires for a moment.
I looked at it a little while ago. Casey is going to see some rain. I don't think you were starting the pitchers in that game anyway. The hitters should be clear. It starts early enough, and I'm pretty sure earlier when I checked it, it cleared up a bit after a while. So you might see some delays or something like that. I'm still going to roster guys.
I would agree. I'm not going to worry about that one too much. They've got all day to play it. They're there tomorrow. It's going to get in. We're not playing the pitchers. Ventura's just not been great lately. The other one looks kind of iffy is the Cubs Nats. That's a doubleheader. They're going to get the first one in no matter what because they're already going to be there all day. And outside of Gonzalez, we mentioned, you're not really going to take pitchers in that one. So I'm not really concerned about that one. I wouldn't even really be too concerned about Gonzalez from that standpoint. Let's see. Roll Tide. Oh, I got to say War Eagle. I'm all about Auburn. I don't know why. I've got a nice little crappy Auburn hat over there. I say crappy because I've had it for about 20 years since my lawn mowing hat. There we go. That's it. Well, Andrew is going to be driving the speed limit, hands at 2 and 10, checking his mirrors every 10 seconds because he has his loved ones in the car with him. So we know he's going to be safe and sane. Me, I'm going to be dumb and dangerous. Do you know why? Because it is doubleheader day. Not only are the Cubbies hosting the Nats for 2, the Phillies are hosting the Braves for 2, and EMac is going to be hosting RotoGrinders GrindersLive for 2. That is right. I am actually on at 5:30 tonight with Boggs Light. I have never worked with Boggs yet. I am looking forward to pushing all sorts of buttons with him. So this is going to be fun because on Twitter last week I got him to post the picture of him wearing that cowboy hat, the ridiculous cowboy hat that made him look like a sheriff, and I thought it was a great photo. So we will see what other fun we can have today at 5:30. I suspect there will be a lot. So definitely tune in for that. As we mentioned, we got all sorts of game slates out here. We've got all sorts of analysis. Check out the Roto-Grinders tools. They're all up. The premium content's up. It's actually really good today, if I do say so myself. Now let's just hope it produces us some good results. So for Andrew, for myself, for Roto-Grinders.
Real quick. Wait a minute. What else is today?
Yeah, so? Oh, it's my anniversary today.
Happy anniversary, man.
Thank you, and look at that. It's going to be really happy for me because somehow I ended up doing 2 shows on my anniversary. Oh, I will be paying later, and then when I'm done paying, I will be paying some more. This is a good day. So, if I come back on at 5:30, check out to see if I have a black eye or two. Maybe a little hand imprint on the side of my face. We shall see. Wife doesn't know I have 2 shows yet. So, good times for us. We will see you.